I'm very excited to be painting tonight, friends. All right. Yay, everybody. It's time for the last pumpkin painting. I'm very excited. Cool beans, friends. In. Please just let me know that you're here, say hi, and tell me where you're painting from tonight. Yay. Yes, hi Kelly. Hey Sherry. What is happening? So exciting. Okay, so I'm dual computering it tonight. So I have my computer open over here, just in case. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't usually have that. Hey Lisa, yay! Samantha, what's up? Oh, I can't control the buffers. I sincerely apologize about that already. Okay. So if you guys have painted with me before, you know that I live in the country. Hey Susie, yay Renee, what's going on? And my country living sometimes offers very mediocre internet, so I apologize about that. Oh, well, thanks, Brooklyn. Oh, hey, Kelly from Massachusetts. That's amazing. Hey, Annie and Lisa from New Hampshire. And Susan. Hi, Susan. Thanks for the period after my name. Hi, Julie. I hope that means you had a really great day. Hi, Ebony. Oh, I'm excited too. Hooray! Oh, thanks, Sherry. I'm really happy. I'm really excited to paint this. Love me a good pumpkin painting, friends, you know? Yay. Oh, Lily and Roberto from California. What's happening, friends? Way to make it early. Honestly, it's so funny. And I'm just going to say hi, TJ and Susan from Nova Scotia. I'm going to assume that VA is Virginia. I really love geography, and I'm going to say that if I were to name all the states, I would get pretty close. But when it comes to the shortening of it, I'm not very good at it. Hey, Beth. What's going on? But I was just going to say, I've been super excited all day to do this, and I spent the day with my daughter, who's 4 and is very active. And I was like really, really hopped up, and swear to God, like 7:30 hit the clock and my whole face just went, it's bedtime. But that's okay, because you know what I have? A glass of whiskey in my whiskey sipper cup. So cheers, friends. I hope you can enjoy a fancy beverage with me as well. Hey, Nat from Toronto, what's happening? I'm so excited you guys are here. Thanks for popping in. There's been many times where I felt like I was going to pass out or not. I'm pass out by meaning I'm just going to fall asleep, not like woozy or anything like that. When I have deadlines and projects and I'm up really late, like working on anything, I just have to crack out a little glass of whiskey and bing, 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 I'm up like it's coffee. Hi, Sladanya. I hope that's how you say your name because I really love it. And besides that, we're just going to get, hanging out here for the next 10 minutes until everybody pops in. We'll see if the numbers go up. So right now I'm chilling. I have my canvas ready. So when I'm painting, this is what you're going to see. You just see my canvas here and I doop-a-doop-a-doo, ba-doop-a-doo. I like doing it this way. I've noticed that a lot of people often do their classes and you can see them while they're painting and stuff. But for me, this is the best way where you get to see the whole canvas all the time. Can you shout out Sydney Martins? What's up, Sydney Martins? Hi, Kate. Yay, I'm glad you're here too. Awesome. So I haven't really explored. I mean, obviously, if I was doing a live paint party, you would be able to see me while I was painting. But I've been doing them like this the whole time, so I hope you guys don't mind that you don't actually see me. I just figured, you know, the best view of the canvas is the best way to do it, and that's why I do it like that. You don't have to see me while we're painting. You can hear me. I'm going to talk the whole time. Probably not going to stop talking the whole time. Maybe I'll have a couple breaks, but barely. I was joking the other day that like my daughter never stops talking, and then one of my members is like, she's like, oh, I wonder where she gets that from. And you know what? She doesn't get it from me. I'm good at chatting, and I can talk to you guys all day long, and I can just randomly break out in song all the time. But I can also sit in silence for many, many hours, and I really, really love it. Hey, Susan. Oh, yeah, you're in Nova Scotia. That's awesome. And no, we don't have to draw anything, TJ. We're going to do this all straight up with our paintbrush. Cool. Pat and Sue from New Hampshire here. Yay. Hi, Riley. I love you too. That's so sweet. I love love. And I love hugs. And that's why the pandemic's so hard, because I can't give hugs to everybody. I'm a hugger. So, oh, Deb, we'll just be watching. Had an injection in my spine today. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, you know what? You're just going to have to hook up some sort of device that you can like lay and paint at the same time. Talk to your husband about that. Hey, Robin. Oh, you're back in Windsor. Nice. Welcome home. It's been a long time. You've been in Florida forever. Chris, I can't wait to do this one either. I'm really excited. And Kelly, it's your first time. Yay. You know what? I have to say, so I do repeat myself a lot. So if you have done my parties, you're going to hear me say a lot of the same things over. And even while we're painting, I'll repeat myself a bunch of times just because, I don't know, when you're in the zone of painting, it's like the best feeling ever. And sometimes you miss stuff, and sometimes you're like, oh my goodness, what did she say? So I often repeat myself a lot. And I always say, I've been painting for like 25 years, and I'm always nervous starting a painting. And I've been teaching painting for like going on 5 years now, and I'm always nervous before I teach a painting. And, you know, it's just one of those things. So it's 100% okay if you feel some nerves before you start. But once you get started, it feels so good, and you're just in the flow. And our paintings have nothing to do with perfection. They're literally all about just feeling good while you're doing it. That's all we want from this. Pumpkins can be a little bit tricky, so let's not hold ourselves to these super high standards. We just want to feel good. We want to be able to let go of stress while we're painting. Hey, Monique, you're going to try this one? Oh, Deb, I know. I wish my husband would do stuff for me too. Oh, and it's Ebony's first time too. Okay, awesome. We have a bunch of newbies here. Sweet. Fresh blood. That's exciting. Holly's a first timer too. Oh my God, guys, I'm so, this is awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are gonna kick it with me tonight. Do you do this weekly or monthly, or is it just whenever? So, I mean, I'm always trying to figure it out, but generally I'll do a few free classes in a month, and I have a couple paid classes too. And then I also have a membership. So basically, the free parties, I just want everybody to be able to experience painting. I think painting is the best way to relieve stress and to really feel good. I always get my best ideas while I'm painting. I paint all the time, and I even forget that, like, how good it makes me feel. So if I'm stressed out, even if it's just for a little while, painting is just magical, a magical way to relieve stress. But I do offer paid parties, and they're usually $15 each, or you can join my membership. Is $20 a month and you get access to all of my parties. Susie, is that a strap? No, it's the Fisher Theater in Detroit Cup. Broadway in Detroit. Fully stolen from my mother-in-law. She let my daughter bring it home. She's like, you got to bring that back. I'm like, you're never going to get that cup back. It's just not going to happen. Oh, good. Okay, we're getting in there. Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. So I'll just let you guys know, if this is your first time painting with me and your first time meeting me, I'm Julie. Thanks for showing up tonight, guys. I have been painting for a really, really long time. It started as a rock painting business when I was in high school. I used to paint like welcome, and I used to paint birds on rocks and I would sell them. It was quite a great side business when I was like 16, 17 years old. And I, you go through the motions. I always took art in high school and all the things. And then I moved out west. I actually lived on Vancouver Island for about 10 years. And while I was out there, I like rekindled my love for painting. And this one time I had made this whole body of work. I think I made like 10 or 15 paintings. And I sent them out to Tofino, British Columbia on the island. My friend took them out there with them. And I put them in an art show and all the paintings sold. And I just like never thought in a million years anything like that could ever happen. So then it just sparked me right up. So I haven't stopped since then. And a few years after that, I opened my own gallery space in Tofino, British Columbia. And I had that for 3 years. And then I wrote a children's book. So I created a whole bunch of characters. I wonder if I have that near here somewhere. I might have it. Hold on one second. And I'm just going to say, hi, Rosalie, and hi, Lisa. Yay, just hold on one second here. I think I brought my book with me. I think it's shoved in here. Okay. So about 7 years ago, this is my main man, Project Monster. And I made a book about him. So Project Monster and Spirit Bear go through the forest and they find a friend for each letter of the alphabet. And I made this book 7 years ago. It was hardcover. And then just recently, over the last couple weeks, I redesigned it and I launched it on Amazon. So you can actually get a copy on Amazon now, which is kind of cool. But it's really fun and it rhymes. This is that's a Kapow kangaroo. And there's Spirit Bear there. Aw, good memories from the book. And then I had a baby, and about 5 years ago, I started doing paint parties. So that's the really short, condensed version of who I am. Hi, Lisa. Hi, June. I think I said Lisa already, but that's okay. Yay. Friends, we're going to get started our painting in 2 minutes, okay? So get your stuff together. What I have a solo cup of water and I have a paper plate. I have my brushes. So we'll do most of this painting with, I have like this big headed flat brush. It's about, I think it's 3/4 of an inch, maybe a full inch. I think it's 3/4. It's a number 12 or, oh no, it says 3/4 inch right on the brush. And this one is a 1/2 inch flat brush. And I also have my Old Faithful long skinny liner brush that I really love to use. That has a wonky thing on it right now. I'm not sure. My daughter was in here today using my brushes and I was like, oh, okay, just put them down. Hi, Ernestine or Cynthia. Which one is it? Hi, Heather. Yay. And Monica. And Lisa, so good, guys. Okay, so we're going to get started in just a second here. I'm just chit-chatting away. And then I have my paints. So we have some turquoise, some brown and white and orange and yellow. I think that's it. But you know what, guys? This is your painting. So if you don't want a turquoise background, it's going to be okay. You can you can make it blue. You could make it... don't make it orange. And, but it could really be any other color that you wanted it to be. So if turquoise isn't your jam, that is 100% okay. Just go with whatever your soul feels like. Okay. And I think that's it. Oh, good. Jody's here and it's her second time painting. Cool. So if I didn't mention it earlier, and I think I did, I live in the deep south of Essex County in Canada, Ontario, Canada, and I live in the country and we don't have high-speed internet here. So at any time, if it's a little laggy, I'm really, really sorry. We're like dreaming of the day we get fiber optic internet because me and my husband both work from home on the internet. So maybe one day it'll all work out for us. But anyways, I think that's it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to squirt a few colors on my plate. I'm going to put my book over here. So I'll share a few links with you when we are letting some stuff dry. But basically I have these, you know, I've used a lot of different paints. And if I'm doing a painting commission, I'll generally use like maybe a more high quality paint. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to the dollar store and getting your paints from the dollar store. They work great. So there's no reason to go spend tons of money on all sorts of expensive stuff, especially if you're just getting started painting. I'm here for the beginners. So just be easy on yourself. Don't spend a whole lot of money and we'll get through this, okay? And with that said, not spending a lot of money is great, but you also don't need to squirt a whole lot of paint on your palette to start. Even though I always end up squirting way more than I want to. You can always add more to your palette. So there's no reason to go launching like big globs of paint on your plate to start. But this is what look like to start. This is going to be my whole background. I have a bunch of teal going on here, a little bit of white and a little bit of brown, and we're going to fill up our whole background. And then we'll take a minute to let it dry. And I just want you guys to give me some thumbs up and let me know that you're ready to start, or just tell me in the comments and we'll get this party started. I will give you a sweet, sweet cheers, my friends. Here's to a lovely evening of painting with you. I'm so, so happy you showed up tonight. I'm very grateful for your presence. Let's start this party. Let's get this party started. Okay. Burnt umber is great, Susan. Yes. My brown is espresso, but any brown's gonna work. It's all good. And hi, Nicole from Colchester. She's in the hood. Sweet. Love me some Colch. Okay, let's get this party started. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate it. So, like I said, I'm gonna use my big fat brush this whole time. Yep, or espresso. I got the espresso in the hizzy here. Okay, so let's just start loading up our big old brush, and we're gonna fill our background with teal. So I got a big old scoop here. I generally like to go up and down and side to side, and I basically put big globs on and I move around the paint until it doesn't move anymore. And that way there, it alleviates having any super big globs of paint on my canvas. And it also dries a lot faster. And at any time, you can always give your brush a little dip in your water cup. Add that little bit of water to your paint. And that also helps move around that paint. But be especially careful because our pumpkin's gonna live like right in this area here. Try not to put too much paint in that area. It's not necessary to really lay it on thick. So let's just not do that. And actually, if you put a little bit of water in your paint, it will help dry the actual paint on the canvas a little bit easier. So I just dip my cup or my paint, I dip my brush in my paint cup, and I give it a little dab in my palette. So I have a little watery section here. And I'm going to use that watery section to do the area where my pumpkin is so that it's dries even faster in that area. But I also like using the up and down crisscross motion because then you get a really cool brush stroke pattern in your background as well. Now you can do this, and then I'm also going to start to add in a little bit of white. So every once in a while, I'll just grab a little bit of white and kind of swipe it in there too. If you want your background to be a little bit lighter, you can mix in some white with it as well. Like I said, your background color is 100% up to you. It doesn't have to be turquoise or teal or whatever color you want to call it today. I'm always calling it different colors, so. I keep going back and dipping my brush in my water, and I just add it in there, add a little bit of white, and just keep moving it around. Now, if you're out of shape like me, you'll find that your arm starts to set on fire. My muscles are burning and I'm sweating right now from doing this. So you're not alone if that is happening to you at the moment. Susan saying, I think the Dollarama Burnt Umber and the Dollar Tree Espresso are pretty close. Oh yeah, that's probably true. And it doesn't, for this particular painting, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say for most paintings it doesn't. I honestly just choose espresso because I know that burnt umber is a little bit more on the darker side and it's a little more ashy. So it just has like a little extra black tinge to it. So I usually grab the espresso brown because I can always add a little bit of black in with my brown if I want it to be a little bit darker. And then I'm not buying all sorts of different colors of brown, which I have done many times in the past, but you know, you learn over the years, you learn the things. So we're just filling up this whole background, guys. If you're just tuning in, let me know that you're here. Say hi. Make sure you are letting me know where you're painting at. Who are you painting with? I want to know all the things. What are you drinking? Did you have a good day? Just let me know in the comments. I just really want to know. I want to know what you did today. I'm not going to try and Whitney you guys, okay? It's going to go really bad. Okay, so once my background is totally full, I still have a little bit of dry spot over there. So anywhere where it's like kind of, you still see some canvas poking through, some little canvas holes, just fill them in. And then I'm going to go around the border of my canvas and just like wash in a little bit of brown or a little bit of white. Oh, cool. Yay, 40 Creek for Susan. I like your style. And Rebecca's in Northern Virginia. That's so sweet, guys. Okay, so I got this little itsy bitsy little bit of brown on my brush here. And every once in a while, I'm just gonna, I start at like the edge of my canvas and I just swoop it in. So I'll swoop in little bits of brown and I'll go back and forth with this too. So I kind of like cross hatch them. And it just like this little bit of rustic feel around the edges of my painting. So every few little bit, and it's not even everywhere, just in a few different spots. And I'll also do the same thing with like a little bit of white. So I got this little tiny bit of little white in there. Let's see here. Heather's painting with her sister in Tilbury. Oh, and you're in Stittsville. That could have come out wrong. That's cool. And TJ's in his crafting room. Hi, Patty. Hi, Linda. Endicott, New York. That's cool. Slave Lake, Alberta. And you got your steep tea. That sounds so beautiful. Oh, I have some friends that live in Alberta, and we, I guess it snowed in or I think it was Banff. I have some friends in Banff. It snowed there the other day. I was like, it was like magical and horrifying to see all at the same time. But they're used to it. I mean, October, it's not that big of a deal for it to be snowing there. Oh, cool. Girl Scout leaders in Eastern Massachusetts. That's amazing. I was a girl guide. I was a girl guide when I was little. And I always wanted to be a scout because I felt like it was a little bit more advanced, but they didn't really have Girl Scouts here then. You had to like be a Boy Scout, if that just shows my age, I guess. So, so what I'm doing right now, guys, I'm just going around the edge of my canvas, and you can go inside the canvas as well. And I take my brush and I just gently swipe to the left, and I swipe down, then I swipe to the right, and I just make little notch marks. And like I said, it just gives it this little bit of a rustic feel. I'm not using a lot of paint at all. It's a very little amount of paint. Painting in Nova Scotia. We started watching you painting in Ontario and then moved here. Still painting with you. Stacy, that's so cool. And Jody's in Yarmouth. Yarmouth. In Yarmouth. And Rachel's in Missouri. Oh, guys, it's so cool, man. What an age we live in. I'm still quite enamored and flabbergasted by what we can accomplish, or like who you can reach while you're on the World Wide Web. I'm totally going to be one of those grandmas that was like, I was born without internet. But it really is amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. And thanks for letting me know. I love knowing where you are. So I'm just gently swiping my brush back and forth, bringing some color down into my painting here, just really rusticking it up, making some little hash marks and just enjoying my time. I hope you're enjoying it too. So at any time, if you feel like a little insecure or you're nervous or you don't like it, just take a deep breath. Don't worry about it. Take lots of deep breaths while you're painting, and then you'll find the magic in it for sure. So I'm going basically all around, like 3/4 of this painting. I'm just going to leave this whole area open for my pumpkin. Oh, cool. Ebony's from London. And no snow yet where you live there. Ernestine. Cool. Now, I never expect any of my paintings to look exactly the same as the original. It's just, it's a lot of pressure. And I often make my paintings like a long time before I actually get to teach them, so I don't expect that from myself. I just like to be in the moment, and I would like that for you to feel that way as well. So just be in the moment, just enjoy right now. Don't try and do exactly what I'm doing, especially for the background. We're letting loose right now. We're not going to worry too much about what's happening. Ooh. And just enjoy the process. And like I said, I'm just like my brown is I have such a minuscule amount of brown on my brush. It barely even goes on the canvas. It just makes little marks. Ta-da! Oh. Yes, it's so I have white and brown that I'm putting on my canvas right now, TJ. A little bit of white, a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, a little bit of brown. And I'm just. I often like to make noises. Are you all painting? Oh, to Patricia, you guys are chatting. I love it. Keep chatting in the chats. I love when I'm not a part of the conversation. It's so cool to see people conversing. I love it. All right. So just keep adding your little expressive brush strokes here. And just keep adding until you feel like you're good to go. Honestly, it's all good. All right. So once I'm done doing this, I'm just going to give my brush a really, really good rinse. And then I'm also going to start pouring a little bit of orange onto my palette. And we'll get our pumpkin started shortly. And yeah, no problem, TJ. Honestly, like, never hesitate to ask questions. I'm like incredibly happy to help in any way I possibly can. If you need me to get closer up, if you need any kind of direction, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm so happy to help. Excuse my reach here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let's see here. We're gonna let this dry for a couple minutes, and I'm just gonna add a few links in our chat here. So I often get asked where if like I can get a tip or something like that. I'm wondering if I can even watch myself on here. Oh, there I am. Cool. I'm watching myself on here, so maybe there might be a lag, so I apologize. So what I'm going to do, I am going to put a few links. So often people ask me if they can tip me and stuff, so this is where you can find some places to tip. And then, like I said, I was talking about my membership, so if you feel like this is something, if you want like an excuse to paint, like basically 4 times a month, hit me up. My parties are $15 each, or you can have it for $20 a month, which is pretty good. And then I was also talking about my children's book, and I have a coloring book too. So I'm just going to put that link in the comments too. I'm still working on figuring out how to do my classes, but what I will be doing eventually is offering classes based on my book. So I'm going to teach adults and children alike. If you would like me to, or if you would like to learn how to draw the characters in my book, we can totally do that together. And I think that's it. I think that's it for the links. Yeah. I'm just going to leave that there. And let's see if this is dry. So you guys, please just give me a thumbs up or let me know when you're ready to dive into our pumpkin painting. I'm just going to go over a few more things as well. So I got a lot coming up here, so I'm just going to like rifle out a whole bunch of information to you right now while we let things dry. And while you finish your backgrounds, you're going to let me know with some thumbs up ins. Okay? So I want you to thumbs up me or just let me know in the comments when you're ready to do the pumpkin. I have a couple paint parties coming up, so I just want to show you what I got in the works here. So next Friday, we're painting the chicken. Look at this majestic chicken / rooster, whatever this is. I think it could be either one, right? It could be a chicken or a rooster. So we're going to paint that next Friday. And then that party's $15. And then on Devil's Night, we're going to paint this cat together too. And this party's only $5. You can get all that information on my Facebook page. It's just under my events, and all the links are in my events section on there. So that's it. That's it. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Chris is ready to make the pumpkin. So let me know when you guys are ready to make some pumpkins. Still a bit wet? Okay. Let's just give this a couple more minutes to dry. And then I was also going to say that my calendar's starting to really book up for like virtual parties, especially around Christmas time, because this coronavirus thing isn't really going away. So I'm getting people hiring me to do like parties for their families and stuff. So if that's something that interests you, I just highly suggest getting on the horn as fast as possible, because my calendar is starting to fill up, which is I'm very, 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 very grateful for. But it's a really fun way to kind of have a shared experience with your family and friends if you can't be with each other, especially around the holidays. Okay, I'm not a part of that conversation. Okay. Okay, Rosalie's ready. Susie's got a thumbs up. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for your pumpkins. I'm going to take a couple sips of my whiskey. And it's funny too, because every time I do a pumpkin painting, I kind of do it different every time. So this, normally I'll start from the outside edges and work our way in towards the center, but we're actually going to start with the middle lump. And I haven't come up with a better word than lump for pumpkins, so we're going to do our pumpkin lumps. Cool. Lisa's ready to do pumpkins. All right, that sounds awesome. So I'm just going to start with orange, but you know what? I'm going to squirt a little extra white on my palette. Just a little extra, just to have a little fresh up-ins there. And we're going to have a little yellow, and we already have brown on there, so might as well just get that yellow on there too. So my new setup is orange and yellow with a little bit of white and brown for our pumpkin lumpkins. Yeah, Heather's on it already. TJ, I really like Crown Royal, but I'm not really, I'm not a whiskey snob by any means. I drink Crown Royal because my mom worked at the Crown Royal factory my whole life until she retired. I think she's going on like 10 years of retirement. Okay, 1 more minute for Monica, no problem. The pumpkin's the most important part, so I'm just gonna wait a second. Make sure everybody's caught up. What else? Okay. I know, I had to write a whole bunch of stuff down. I'm like, oh my God, I have so much stuff to tell everybody. Oh yeah, your husband drinks Crown Royal too. Well, that's nice. Yes, I think of it like I'm supporting my mom's retirement when I drink Crown Royal. So, but I'm not going to deny any kind of whiskey that anybody gives me. I just don't really like flavored whiskey. So I like it plain. I like a good plain, straight up whiskey, because the flavor ones are really too sweet for me. I drink black coffee. I don't like sugar in my coffee. Just one of those people. Not that I don't like sugar. I do. I very much do. But just not in my drinks so much. I drink like plain soda water. I'm just not a really sugary drink kind of person. That's what it is. But give me all the cake, okay? Okay, let's get this party started. Or the second part of our party anyways. So what's gonna happen, I'll bring the original in here for a second. We're gonna start with this lump here. And the best part about this pumpkin is that we don't have to paint the whole thing. It's just like sitting over here. So a lot of it gets erased by not being on the canvas, which is kind of awesome. I do like Fireball. I would take shots of Fireball, but I wouldn't just drink it. There we go. And your sister says that is correct. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to roll with it. Okay. Now I'm going to paint my pumpkin with my big brush again, so I'm giving it a really good rinse in my cup. And just make sure all of that green's out of your brush. So give it a good push on the bottom of your cup. Rinse it around. Give it a really good dry off on your napkin. I still got a little bit of turquoise in there, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to map out where all of our lumps live. So my first big lump is going to be here. And the best part about mapping our lumps out first is that there's a whole lot of room for movement. It's not the end all be all. It's really easy to change the shape of your lumps at the beginning. And also, I always suggest to people, it's always a little safer if you're a little bit nervous. You can start a little smaller and make things bigger. But if you make a big old pumpkin lump, it's going to be really hard to make it smaller. So if you're on the cautious side, I suggest just keeping it chill, keeping it small at first. But I am just going to start with some orange, and we're just going to map out those lumps, friends. So got my orange here. I'm going to fill it up. Bing, 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 bing. Take a deep breath. And my first lump is just going to live, the top's going to be there. I'm going to make the shooshing sound. Yes, my pumpkin is backwards to you guys because I haven't figured that out yet. So, shh. But it shouldn't matter with the pumpkin. Shh. It really shouldn't matter if it's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Shh. And I feel very good about shooshing. Okay? So if you need to shoosh with your pumpkin, just go for it. And then we're going to build the lumps off of there. So generally, I leave a space in the middle for where our stem is going to live. The stem really gets implanted in those pumpkins. So I'm just going to start right up. It's just a little bit above the top of the first lump there. And this guy's going to just gently graze the side of my canvas, come off the side, and he's going to get finished off right down here. And then I got another one kind of cruising up and over here. And then one more is going to live right up here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 lumps on that side. She's lump, and then I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. So I got a lump coming around the corner, around the country. Pumpkin lumps, they're on the way. The convenience stores of Speedway. So when I really don't like that lump. It did not come out very good. Oh, am I frozen? No. Okay, let me know when I unfreeze. Michelle, you let me know. Am I moving? Can you see me? So, you know, this is a really, really yucky lump. So I can always change the shape of it. I'm just going to fix it up a little bit. We still have room for other lumps, so I'm just going to make sure that everything's in the right place to start. Okay, good stuff. And all these things are going to get colored in, so I don't really worry about it too much. There's really a lot of room for fix-up-ins, okay? So this is going to be our biggest lump here. I'm going to go up and over. Take your time. Make sure it's a nice round. We want a nice big round lumpy pumpkin. There we go. And we're going to have one more little lump up here. Lump. Okay, unfrozen. Unfro here. I like that. I'm a big fan of like shortening words, so that's good. Unfro that frozen screen. So this is all gonna get colored in here. This is all gonna be my lump. I decided that I was gonna fix it up, and this is gonna be the top of my other lump. So now that we know where basically our lumps are gonna live, then we can start putting some really nice details into our pumpkin. I'm gonna come a little closer. I'm just gonna get my camera a little bit closer here so you guys can really see. Okay. So the general consensus, I'm just gonna bring in the original for 1 second here. So every lump has a crevice and a top. The tops of every lump have a little bit of white on them, and all the crevices have a little bit of brown. So that's really our defining factor in our pumpkins. We really want those crevices to show up and be nice and thick. You know, we really want them to look like they're nice and deep. And that extra highlight on the top is where our light's hitting. So that's where it's going to have those beautiful, shiny little pumpkin lumps. All right. So let's start. But I have to say, now that we have everything mapped out, what we're going to do is we're going to start at the back and we're going to work our way forward. Start back here, and then we're going to start back here, and then our last lump is going to be the middle lump now. Okay? So give your brush a little bit of a rinse just to get started. And I'm going to start coloring in my lump. So first, I'm going to take a little bit of orange. And there's two ways to do this. So the first way, I'm just going to show you. You can take a little orange, and wherever the top of my brush is going to hit, I take a little scoop of white. So this is what my brush looks like. You can even give it a little go on your palette. So you have a half brush of orange and a half brush of white. This is what it looks like right now. And I'm going to start right at the end of my lump, and I'm going to or just take some orange, color it in, and grab a little bit of white and just color a little bit along the top here. And pumpkins have a lot of room for expressive brushstroke marks. So if you have some streakies in there, that's great. Streaks are awesome. And we're just going to leave it like that right now. So color this guy in, take a little bit of white, plop it along the top. It's very subtle, but we're going to give all pumpkins take at least 3 steps. So the first step, it just looks okay, but you'll see once we get that stem on there, it's going to look really good, okay? And now I'm going to move over to my next lump. So I'm going to color this guy in. And because we already put a line where our lumps are going to live, you can really see where it lives. So you can still see that defining line in the middle. And then I can take my little bit of white and I'm going to cruise along the top of this lump. So I try and keep my brush strokes along the same length of the little lump there. And I'm just going to gently work in. Oh, it's coming off. Uh-oh. Let's just do this. That wasn't supposed to happen. And then I'm going to take a little bit of brown, and right along this edge here, I'm just going to swipe in a little brown along the edge. Just a little bit. And this is only because we're defining where our lumps live right now. We're not making it look perfect right now. We're just figuring out the ebb and the flow of the pumpkin top, the pumpkin lump top, and the pumpkin lump crevice. So when you swoop a little brown on the side of this, on the bottom of this lump here, you will automatically define where your crevice is. And then you can rinse your brush, but you don't have to. And I'm just going to start again, right up here. And you can see I'm trying to go the whole length. It's nice to have our brush strokes going the whole length of the lump. And this is really where we can start to get some good crevice action going here. So I'll take a little bit of brown. I'm going to swipe it along the edge of my lump here. And you can still see some of the turquoise kind of popping through. So just remember, this is just the second coat, or actually it's just the first coat, but it's our second go at the pumpkin, and we're doing this 3 times, okay? So we're not going to freak out right now. If it's not looking awesome, it's because it's not supposed to, okay? And then I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm just going to swoop it over the top here. Just a couple little swoopies. This is so that our brains are like, oh, okay. Our brains really love to see things coming to fruition. So this is just giving them a little picture of what we're going for here. Okay, so then I'm going to start back up here. Now, I'm also going to say at any time, if you feel like the brush that I'm using, so I'm using a big brush right now, if you need to move over to a smaller brush, honestly, like it's 100% okay. It's all about you being comfortable with the brush you're using. So don't try and fit within my parameters. I'm really used to using all my brushes all the time. So I know my limits. And sometimes when I'm just cruising along with one brush, I'll be like, oh, no, that didn't work. I'm going to move down a notch. If you feel that way, just do it. Just go for it. Okay, so I'm just going to color that guy in orange. And I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to move on to the next lump. I'm starting at the back and I'm working my way forward again here. So with this one, I'm going to cruise along the whole outside edge with orange here. Ooh. Really making myself work for it. Swoop down towards the bottom or up towards the top, but I'm always kind of swooping up and off the canvas. So that's my general brush stroke mark as well. So I like to go as long as possible because then I alleviate any weird little brush stroke stop marks. So whenever your brush doesn't go far enough, you get these little brush marks in there, and I just like to pet them out. So I go all the way around the edges. And then I'm going to take this little corner of brown right here, and I'm going to cruise all down the side of the crevice here. So a little bit of brown at a time, just so we can really see that definition of the crevice. And if it's mixing it with your orange a little bit, that's okay. We're going to give it another go. There's a lot of work to be done on this pumpkin before we're done, so all good, friends. All good. Okay. I'm going to keep cruising. Here we go. Just pretend like you're skiing down a mountain. Shoop, shoop-a-doop, shoop-a-doop, shoop-a-doop-a-doop, shoo. Here I go, here I go, here I go. I'm gonna pick my pumpkin now. Okay. So just doing the same old, you know, like if we had like the giant pumpkin, we'd be doing this all day long. All day long. All day, well, I guess it's night, all night long. And then I'm going to put that little bit of brown there, right in the crevice area, just cruising along the edges. Leaving a little brown, just gently swooping up. So whenever I'm, you know, if you do get any weird brush stroke marks, I just gently wipe over them and up and off the canvas. I kind of like swing, swing, up and off. And at any time, if you feel like you want to put that little bit of white in the tops of your lumps here, you can if it makes you feel better. But I feel like it's going to go on better if we let it dry first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let this dry. We're going to get our first coat on here, and then we're going to work on it a little bit more. So this last lump is just full out orange, and it's going to go up over the top and down towards the bottom. So you can see that my brush stroke marks are the same as before, only I'm going in both directions. So I'll go up and around and down, and I go both sides, but I'm trying to get from the top all the way to the bottom. It really looks good when you have the right lengthy brush stroke marks, especially in the pumpkins. Shoop, 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 shoop. Wow. And then instead of putting some brown in the crevices, because our lump in the front already has the crevices kind of done for us, I'm just going to take a little bit of brown and I'm going to swoop it. Oh, that was a lot of brown. I'm going to swoop it up from the top, or from the bottom towards the top, and just put a couple little strokes down at the bottom here. Just a couple of guys down here. And you know what? There's probably a good chance that this is all gonna all get erased. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave this for a second here. Guys, let me know how you feel about your pumpkin so far. Rachel says you hear a word and just start singing. Yeah. It's like a nervous tick. I can't even help myself. All day long. Every day. Every day of my life. And then my daughter goes, Mom, stop. Don't sing. It's lovely. I love when she does that. So we're just giving this a couple minutes to dry. If you have like a hair dryer, you can totally hair dry it up. We're going to be starting at the back and working our way forward again. So by the time we get to the center one, we should be good to go. And you can see I've left this big crevicey spot in the middle for where our stem's going to live. Yeah, just let me know when you guys are ready, and maybe we could put the stem on. We could. We do need to give it a couple coats. I often like to leave the stem for last, but maybe maybe we'll just do it. I'm just gonna wing it. Let's just get our stems on there, and then we can let our pumpkins dry up. So when you guys are ready to make a stem, just give me a little thumbs up-ins. I wish I could see you. Well, Ebony, that's really, really great. She says it actually looks like a pumpkin, and I didn't think it would. Hashtag success. I love it. Hashtag all right. Getting our pumpkin on. I'm so excited for Halloween. Ready in 3. Okay, 3 seconds or 3 minutes? And I don't know if you've noticed yet, but I have a really, not only do I just sing constantly, I can't stop laughing either. That's totally something that you could either love or hate about me. So don't mind me. I'm just going to keep giggling and singing away. So just make sure you have enough brown on your palette. We're going to use a little bit of brown to create our stem, and we're going to bring it on down and over here, all the way over. And our stem is going to need a couple coats of paint. So we'll put it on, we'll make space for it, and then we can go back to our pumpkin and give it its last extras there. Okay, I'm getting some good hearts going on. So I'm just gonna give your brush a really good rinse. So whenever I'm rinsing my brush, I just I give it a good push on my cup. Little wiggle in there, make sure it gets all loosened up, get all that paint off of my brush. Then I grab my napkin, I really give it a good squeeze out the excess paint that's on there. And I don't think I told you guys that it's a really good idea to keep your drink cup away from your paint cup. Doesn't matter. it matters what you're using, but I use like a red Solo cup, and there's something very inviting about a red Solo cup when you're not paying attention and you're just thirsty and you go and you drink your paint water and it's no good. And even still, like even when if you're putting your brushes in your paint cup, you don't want it to be your drink cup. So keeping them separate is a really good idea. Or having a sippy cup like me. Make sure it has a lid on it. Okay? All right. So I'm just going to use my big brush again, and I'm going to make this happen. Now, if I'll show you first. You might want to move down a notch for your actual stem for the vines that come out of it. But we can start with the big one to start and see how it goes, okay? So I'm just going to load up my brush with some brown. And I'm just going to take a little corner of white. Something like that. Just add a little bit of white in with it. Like that. And then I'm going to start with just right in this little crevice here. Oh, I got a little too much water on there. Shoot. Right in this little crevice, I'm going to start up and just have fun with this. So I often, you see, I went fat with it at first. So I got a fat brush and I'm going to twist it up. And then it gets skinny when you twist it on its side. And you can kind of just let this vine do its thing. So whenever my brush is on its side, I'm pulling, pulling, pulling. And when it starts to come to an end, as I'm pulling down, I will let this bottom part of my brush kind of pull up and off the canvas. So I'm pulling down, and you'll see that last little bit there. I'm just going to let fling. I just let it fling, just so it ends up in a point. And just remember, this stem is going to look good no matter what, so it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. You can make your vines go as gnarly as you possibly want. It's all good by me. But there's going to be a few just kind of poking out here. I'm just wiggling and jiggling my brush around, letting it, my hand do its thing. I'm just going to come down here. Just make the meow sounds. It's fine. You're good. And then, let's see, I'm going to bring another guy up and around here. So I'm just going to start in here and this guy's going to come up and right up here. And then I'm just going to fill in this last little crevice here. So we're just making space right now. I am going, obviously, to give this another go when it's time. So if it's not looking like you like it, that's okay. Lots of room for improvement here. We'll just let it do its thing. And now we know where our stem lives, so that's cool. Stem and vines. We're going to have a lot more where that came from. Oh, I got to stop putting my wet brush on there because it keeps dripping. And then I'm going to give my brush another rinse. Ooh, Lisa uses mini red Solo cups. That's fun. Do you put your paints in the Solo cups or just your water? Because I've definitely seen people use little mini Solo cups to put their paint in. Okay, so now that our pumpkin's pretty dry, I mean, fairly. I know the last these lumps here are dry, and it's starting to dry up over here. So by the time we get to our center lump, we should be good to go. And we learned that our crevices are brown and the tops of our pumpkins are white. So we're going to continue in that fashion. Now, depending on how you want your pumpkin to look here, you could actually just start by putting a little bit of white on your brush and just swooping in a little bit of white up here. This particular lump does not need a whole lot more orange in it, but since the white's taking over, I can always take a little extra orange and just swoop back and forth. So if you're ever blending anything, just going back and forth with your brush a bunch of times, hundreds of times, feel like this brush might be a little too big for this lump, but that's okay. I'm going to work with it. When you bring your brush back and forth a bunch of times, it just lets the colors blend better together. You get a better blend there. And yeah. There. So I'm gonna, okay. Mini cups for her water, paint goes on a round palette. All right. So I'm gonna give each lump a little bit of extra attention. All right. Now this last lump here, I'm gonna move down a notch. I'm gonna grab my littler brush because I feel like I'm just not getting the vibe that I want on the top of my pumpkin lump, and I'm just gonna move in a little closer here just so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. So taking this little bit, I moved down a brush notch here, so I went down to my 1/2 inch brush instead of my 3/4 inch brush. I can swoop in a little bit of white on the top, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of brown on my brush, and I'm just gonna cruise along this line here. And I go back and forth a few times so that it's not like a really distinct line. I want it to blend up into my pumpkin. So going back and forth a few times really helps. If it looks like a really dark brown line, I suggest just taking a little bit of orange and just going right over top of it, and then those two colors will come together really, really nicely. But I'm just going to take a little bit of more brown and swoop it in really gently. And we're good. But now that we're kind of giving each lump the love that it needs, I'm gonna rinse my brush in between each so that it doesn't get all mucky. I don't want a mucky muck pumpkin. I want a good looking pumpkin. All right, so for the next one, I'm gonna actually start with just a little bit of orange. Just a tiny little bit of orange to start, just getting it, the center of my pumpkin ready there. I'll take a little scoop of white and cruise along that top edge of the pumpkin. Back and forth. Now, at any time, if you ever feel your brush is just lagging, like it's hard and all your paint is going on really, really dry, you can always just add a touch of water to the paint that you're using, and it just helps liquid it up a little bit. It helps move it around. Like, I feel like mine is really draggy right now, so I'm just going to take a little dip of water. Just going to tap it on my palette. Always tap it on your palette first. Never go from water to painting, or else it can drip, and that's a sad story. We don't want any drippage. So I just keep going back and forth. I'm really gently bringing that white and orange together. And then I'll grab a little bit of brown, and I'm just going to cruise along that edge. Just a little bit at a time. And generally I keep the brown a little thinner at the top, and then you can get a little thicker with it as the lump kind of cruises down towards the bottom. So it's a nice thin line up here, and then as I move down, it just thickens up a little bit, and I can even bring a few of those little brush stroke marks up into this area here. And then, we rinse. And we put more orange on our plate. I'm almost out of orange, so I'm just gonna give it another squirtarooski. But that's the general consensus. So anytime you have that lag in your paintbrush, I always give a dip in my cup, a little dip, and then I put it in whatever color paint I'm using, or I just touch my palette with it, and then when I go back to my painting, it's just nice and smooth, and it helps blend things. That little dip of water goes a long way a lot of the time. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to my lump here. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra orange, just really make it nice and solid looking. Not salad looking, solid looking. Have you ever had, has anyone ever had a pumpkin salad? Is that a thing? I've never, I don't know where that came from, but I was just, when I said pumpkin solid, it just came out as, in my brain, I was like, pumpkin salad. Sounds interesting. Maybe I should try it. Use my Jeffersoning. Okay, so I'm just giving a really light coat of orange, and that just like sets the tone so that when I go and grab my white and I'm cruising on the top here, those two colors can come together. And when you go back and forth with your brush a bunch of times, you'll see that the colors will blend together and it's nice. And you get some nice blends there. And I'm just making some streakies. Pumpkins look best with streaks, so let it streak. And then I'll grab my brown. I'm going to cruise right along this edge here. And let that brown and orange kind of go together like two birds of a feather. And you can always swoop in some extra brown from the bottom. Make sure that you get those nice shadowy spots on your pumpkin here. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Going back and forth this way, crosswise, and then back and forth, up and down with my brush. And I'm always following that same lump pattern. And actually, this is supposed to be filled in down here too, so I'm just going to fill this in with brown down here right now. This bottom corner should have some pumpkin action in it too, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. I'll put some extra brown here so that crevice is nice and thick. There we go. Okay, so now that we've done those first few lumps, I'm going to move up and over to the other side of my painting. You can hear my rinsing happening there. Good rinse-a-roo. And there we go. I'm going to start back up at the top here. Just filling in all the lumps. One lump at a time. With a little bit of white on my brush. Here we go. All right. And then I'm gonna take a little brown, put it in my crevice. Yeah, yeah. The back lump doesn't really need a whole lot of brown in the crevice. You can really keep it mostly white up here, so just keep that top lump mostly white and orange. Aw. That's nice, Vanessa. I'm glad you're having fun. Me too. Stoked. Okay, so we're getting to this big old lump here, and I have this little brush, and I really feel like I'm gonna fill this whole thing in with my big brush again, so I'm gonna jump back over. So for the big lumps, I'll use my big brush. For the little lumps, I'll use my little brush. You know, makes sense, right? I'm just gonna grab that orange and just give it another coaty-rooski here. Coaty-rooski. Just cruising along. Cruising. And I'm going to take a little corner of white and just really get that in there. Nice shiny topped pumpkins. That's what we're looking for. We just want super duper shiny top. All right. And then brown bottom. Put your brown on the bottom. All right. Here we go. Just keep cruising along. Can always add those little bits of white. And the best part about the pumpkins is like even when it's all dry, you can go back in and just give like these little extra highlights. At any time, you can always take a step back and just add some more. There's no end to how much you can add to the pumpkins. It's like it's like awesome and not awesome at the same time. So it's all good. Just keep going. Oh, what is Lori saying? I missed some of this. Will this be available to rewatch? I absolutely love this. Oh, well, that's nice. Oh, thanks, Kate. Kate's always on it. So yeah, I have a YouTube channel. And I upload all of my free parties onto my YouTube channel. So you should go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Julie's Paint Party. And just subscribe and you'll get notifications whenever I upload a new video. Fun. All right, I'm just going to keep cruising along. So I'm going to start with some more orange here. Do you guys love how I just keep repeating myself over and over for each lump of the pumpkin? Can you just not get enough of that or what? Oh man, so many lumps. That's why I was like, when I was booking my parties and trying to figure out, honestly, I think the hardest part of my job is figuring out when to paint the things. It's really hard to figure it out. I'm not a really great planner. So I was just like, this is the last pumpkin of the season. Because we've already painted quite a few pumpkins this year already. And on a normal year where I would actually be out in public painting, I would be doing pumpkins probably 3 or 4 times a week, to be honest. So it's actually not as much as usual, but even still, it's really dial in the pumpkin lumps by the end of October, you know? But I have to say, I'm quite excited about winter season coming up. I've been creating some pretty sweet woodland creature scenes. Hey, no problem, Lori. You're welcome. Lovely lady lumps. Gotta love those lady lumps. Yeah, the paintings for the new season coming up, the winter season, I'm digging them. I made a gnome today, a cutie little Christmas gnome, and I made some winter pine cones. Lots of wintry things coming up. So that's kind of a cool thing too. Like if you're loving this and you want an excuse to paint like this all the time, like Kate, who's so awesome in our membership group, you can have access to all of my parties. And like I said, they're $15 a party, or you can get all of them for $20 a month. Plus you get access to all of the parties that I had in the past too, which is pretty crazy. And then you can buy a year membership and you get 2 months for free. So that might be a good idea for anybody who you know loves painting and wants to paint more regularly. Be a good Christmas present. Okay, so last lady lump on the horizon here. Let's just get these lumps all filled in. And once they're filled in, we can give them all of their beautiful highlights and lowlights. We can give them all sorts of extra loving. And then we can also give our stem some extra loving too, because man, that is a sad looking stem right now, let me tell you. She's so sad. But lady lumps are happy. Pumpkin lump, lady lumps. Just cruising along that edge there. Now, you might be like, why is she covering up all that brown on the bottom? Honestly, it's really subtle, but you end up getting these really cool separate nuances. So you can barely see it, but you really can see a little bit of the brown kind of popping out the background still. So then when I go and I put extra brown on top, you're not only getting that dark, you still get this really nice light nuance too. So there's all these different hues of shadow in the bottom of your pumpkins and on the sides. So it really it ends up looking really cool. And if your paint's getting really thick on there, just work it in. Just keep pulling your brush back and forth, back and forth. It'll all come together. You just got to have the stamina. Stamina to keep going. Ernestine's, this is my first painting with you and I'm really enjoying myself. Oh, well, that's so sweet. It's been over 10 years since you last painted. Oh, you lost your husband. I'm so sorry. But I just couldn't get back into it, but I really enjoyed it. Oh, that's, honestly, thank you so much for sharing that with me. It's like filling my heart real big right now. Thank you. It's amazing how painting can help us get through a lot of hard scenarios, and that's like the hardest. So thanks for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Painting is so very healing. So now I'm just going to go through the lumps, give them some little extra love. Oh, I forgot to put the white on the top of this guy. So grab a little white, cruise along those top lumps here. Just cruising on a Sunday afternoon. On a Thursday evening. All right. Cool. Okay, so what's going to happen now is once your lumps are done, just give me a thumbs up. What we're going to do is we're going to give our stem another go, and then we're going to start to put our leaves on as well. I'm wondering if we should do that first. No, we can do that after our stem's on. So we're going to give our stem another go, and then we'll put our leaves on, and then we'll come back to our pumpkin again, and we can start to add just a few little yellow highlights in there. You think mine looks realistic? Oh, that's sweet, Vanessa. Thanks. Yours looks okay. Well, I can't wait to see it. So you guys have to share these with me at the end. You're not allowed to not share, okay? You gotta send me a picture or post it in our Facebook group. I have a public group if you guys aren't a part of it. It's Julie's Paint Party public group. I'm pretty sure you can get instant access to it if you've been on Facebook for a while. And then I always have people trying to get into the membership group, but you do have to buy a membership to get into our private membership group. But yeah, posting your paintings in there is a good idea. Or just on my page, or just send me a message. So I'm just going to keep doing this. When you guys give me your thumbs up-ins and let me know you're ready to move over to our stem again, just let me know. Just let me know how it goes. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, that's fun. My daughter likes your stem. She says it looks like it's blowing in the wind. Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind, so thanks. I think it looks really creepy. It looks like weird little hands, like. I think I'm just gonna give my brush a good rinse, and like I said, I'm gonna give my stem another go. So the same deal. We're doing the same shape. We're just giving it that second coat so it looks nice and solid. Okay. I'm gonna grab a little bit of brown and a little bit of white, and I'm just gonna cover it up. So starting at the bottom, I'm just gonna go up and over. So at the bottom of our stem, I just try and work it into the crevices of our lumps here. So anywhere where the stem is kind of cruising in, I just give it a little bit of a pull right into the lumpy area. And it really looks like that stem is like really solid inside our pumpkin. So those little stem pieces and the crevices there, you would definitely be able to pick up this pumpkin from the stem and it won't crack off. It'll stay intact. And just let some of that white kind of marble out into the stem too. It's good to see some little strokes of paint, and just fill it in. Fill it in. Fillaroo. Bring it down and around. And it's totally okay if it's not super duper solid. We want the stem to look a little creaky. Yes, very creaky hands. Oh. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Your pumpkin stem is blowing in the wind. Just let it blow, friends. Let it blow. Let it soar. Like the creepy hand stems that it is. It's like this beautiful pumpkin. It's got like the creepiest stem ever. It's beautiful. I love creepy things. I'm like so alone in my house. Nobody wants to watch scary things with me in my house. So I have to watch them alone, which is the worst. Because that's what I just love about Halloween. The creep factor. I'm really hoping to creep some kids out this year. Oh no, not frozen again. Just keep working. Hope for the best. Hopefully I can come back, high internet time here in the county. And then I'm just going to take like a little corner of white on my brush. I'm going to swoop it in. Swoop it back and forth. One day I will have a solid internet connection and everybody will be way happier. So as long, when you sign up for my private parties, we use Zoom and not Facebook. I find Facebook often has like a little bit of a lag or somewhat of like it's kind of gets a little pixelated sometimes, where our Zoom parties aren't nearly as bad. So let me know if you guys think if I'm still frozen, I don't want to keep going. Just keep me posted. And I will take a little break here. I'm just gonna keep working on my stem until then. So I'm just swiping in little bits of white into my pumpkin stem. Letting little Little bits just cruise through here. Zingling. And I will wait. I'm going to wait until everybody tells me that they can see me again. Tommy, can you see me? Can you feel me near you? Heather, you're good. Heather's always good. Heather, you're awesome. Love it. Tommy, can you hear me? Can I help to cheer you? Ooh, Tommy, Tommy. Tommy, can you hear me? Woo! Okay. I'm going to, oh, I think I'm just a little behind here. Okay, let's see if I can see my hand getting through. All right. All good here. See ya, no leg. Awesome. You guys are best. 'Cause you're simply the best. Better than all the rest. You're better than anyone. Did I mention while painting I dropped the canvas? That makes you even better, Heather. Okay, you guys are good. Excellente. Let's keep working. Okay, so we're going to put some leaves on. So you're going to need to put some green on your palette. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm pretty sure the green that I have is different than the original green, but it doesn't matter what green you have. Often dollar store greens are a little bit see-through. They're like more of a transparent green. So just bear with it. We're going to do our best to cover the things up and whatnot. And we're going to try and make some really nice pumpkin leaves. Okay. So I'm going to get in a little bit closer over here. Let's just get a good view on our pumpkin. And you can decide to make your leaves wherever you want. I'm going to start with this area here. And like I said, I'm going to grab a little bit of green and we're just going to map out where our leaf is. But I'm also going to mix in a little bit of white too. So I got, wow, it's really yucky brown white. But adding a little white in with my green is just going to make it look a little more solid. It makes it a little bit more opaque. So it just goes on a little bit nicer. Okay, so check this out. I have my my medium flat brush here. I'm going to start actually up in my stem a little bit. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and around one way. And as I turn my brush around, I'm going to fling it out to the side. Adding a little bit of yellow in with your brown is also a good idea. Or, sorry, with your green. My bad. So a little green or yellow and white and green together also makes a really nice color. So I'm going to just do that again. Down and around. I'm going to turn my brush to the side and fling out to the side. And I'm going to make this leaf. I'm going to finish it off this way. Yeah, I got my smaller brush going on here. So I have my medium flat brush to do this. Okay. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to go up and around. And as I turn my brush out, I'm going to fling to the side. And finish that off. And then I'm going to do that a couple more times. So I'm going to do another one right here. Fling. Finish that off. Another one over here. It's okay if they overlap each other. All good. And then finally, one big guy in the middle here. So this is the general shape. And then since I made all the leaves in their different way, I'm just going to go in and color it in a little bit and make my brush strokes look like it's one leaf instead of like a bunch of leaves stuck together. going to just do that all over the place. So I'm mixing in a little yellow, a little green, a little white together. It's got all sorts of different colors on there. And it's a 5-step process. So I'm going to start right down here. Put my brush straight on the canvas. I'm going to pull up and over. And as I curve down, I'm just going to twist my brush a little bit. And fling off the side. Same over here. I'm going to pull my brush up and over. As I come down, I twist my brush and fling off the side. So pumpkin leaves are basically 5 leaves put together into 1 leaf. And then I'm going to do it again, like this. You can see I'm kind of just taking different shades of my colors. I really like when there's a whole bunch of different colors inside my leaves. So if some parts are a little darker, some are a little lighter, I actually like the look of that. So that's why I do it like that. So I'll take little scoops of yellow randomly, little scoops of green, little scoops of white, whatever gives me some different nuances inside my leaf makes me happy. And just scribble it around. Scribble it a little bit. Okay, where else can I make a leaf? I'm going to make one at the end of this thing over here. Okay, so obviously we're going to go in alignment with wherever way the stem is pointing. So I'm going to point this one up. So I'm going to start up here in my stem and do the same thing. So I start flat along the edge of my stem. I push my brush, I lift it up, I make a little lump, and then as I make my lump, my brush twists to the side and I fling it off so it has a nice little point on the end. And I do that on both sides, like it has like this little, like the bottom's kind of like a little butt. So up and over as I pull to the side, and I fling it off. And I'm just going to keep doing that. Fling, 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 fling. And one to end. Up. And you know, it is fall and leaves change colors, so it is really kind of fun to have all the different kind of colors hanging out in your leaves. And then I just go in and I give them some brush strokes, make sure that it's coming all together. All those colors are working themselves together. It's nice to have some little brush strokey texture in there and make nice little expressive marks. Ding ding, ding 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 ding. So my original painting has 4 leaves, but I think I'm just going to leave it to 3 today. Don't feel like I don't. Should I leave one more? I'm just gonna leave it at 3 today. So it's up to you. If you want to add an extra leaf inside your pumpkin here, just go for it. There's a lot. If you have room, just do it. Add that extra leaf in there. But for now, I'm just gonna give my brush a rinse. I'm gonna let it go. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. How's everybody doing on their leafies? What do you think? I think my pumpkin leaves are different in every painting. I'm not really sure which ones are real or not, or if any of them are the right shape, really. But like I said to everybody earlier or before, it's just like, does it really matter? Unless some like crazy botanist expert comes into your house and says, that is not a pumpkin leaf. I highly doubt that's going to happen unless it's you. Unless it's you and you know better, then just let me know. Lisa, your leaf is sad. How could it be sad? They are kind of sad looking. They're like, mew, mew. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And just remember, anytime you can always give your leaves another go too. If you need to like add extra things, and we are gonna put some details in it too, so that might vibe them up a little bit, make you feel better about your leafies. So we do have one more stem that's gonna come up and around, but before I do that, I'm just giving my brush a good rinse. And you can use your big brush or your medium flat brush. So I have my smaller flat brush here. It's just my 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow. I'm just going to finish off whatever needs to happen in my pumpkin. So I'm going to take a little yellow and I'm going to swoop just little bits of yellow at the top. And it's not going on very good, so I'm going to add a little water. So you can see here on my palette, I took a little water on my brush and I'm just going to add it into the side of my yellow here. It just loosens it up a little bit, makes it kind of more watercolory. And I tap it a lot so that it doesn't, when I go to put it on my canvas, it doesn't run down the canvas. I just leave it a little washy. So having a little bit of washy yellow on my brush, I'm just gonna swoop in just a little bit of yellow onto the tops of my pumpkins. You can do this with the white too. So if you want to give your pumpkin a little extra highlight here and there, just go for it. The more light on the top and the more dark on the bottom, the more contrast your pumpkin's gonna have, and it's just gonna look more dynamic. If you want a more subtle looking pumpkin, then don't do that. But the lighter it is on the top and the darker it is on the bottom, the more lumpy it's gonna look. And you know me, I'm all about those lumps. I'm all about those lumps. And you can see I start at the top and I just swoop back. I swoop down and around and just make some brush stroke marks. Little expressive marks there. Nobody's ever said there's too many brush strokes in my pumpkins. They're always like, wow, those look great. Great pumpkin. And it just makes it so much more dynamic when you have these little, just little extra details go a long way. And by details, I just mean like those little extra brushstroke marks that, you know, maybe it doesn't look perfect, but it makes the painting yours. And that's what I love about painting so much, that it is yours. This is not my painting, it's your painting. And there's always an ebb and a flow. If you're like putting on these brushstroke marks and you're like, oh my goodness, I put too many, just grab some orange, cover it up. You know? So peasy. Little orange covers it up, you're good to go. Ta-da! And do the same with the brown at the bottom. And just add some a little bit of extra darkness down at the bottom. So nice. So dynamic. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit at a time. All sorts of dynamic contrast in your pumpkin. And voila! Is it good? Looks like a green lotus flower. Ooh, fancy. I can fancy that. Okay. So we have a couple more steps here to finish off our super epic pumpkin, okay? First, we're going to take our brush and we're going to make a couple vines just cruising along the bottom here. And then we're going to make a few little curlicue vines and put some little details in our leaves as well. Because you need, if you got a leaf, you can't just leave it. You need the leaf centers or the veins or whatever you want to call them inside your leaves. But the first step is we need to add our little curlicue vines in there. So I'm going to actually start moving over. Probably for the rest of the painting, I'm going to use my long skinny brush. And this is my Old Faithful long, it's like a 1-inch liner brush. And make sure you got enough paint. I'm just going to add a little extra brown onto my palette. But whenever I'm using my liner brush, I always, thank you, Susan, veins. No, they're leaf middles. I always add water in with it. So I'll show you just really quick here. So whenever I use one of these brushes, I always do a couple dips. So I dip my brush and I just add a couple drops of water right next to my paint. And I really, I loosen up my paint there. So whenever I'm using my long skinny brush, I always add water in with my paint. And it just really helps because when I have a nice full brush of paint, I can make nice long lines because it's got a little bit of liquidiness to it and it flows so nicely. So trust me, adding a little bit of water in with my brown, and I'm going to add a little white in there too. Little mix of brown and white, a couple drops of water. Really loading my brush up here. Load it up. And once you feel satisfied with the consistency, so it just ends up making it a little bit more inky than painty. When I have my brush nice and full, I always just kind of give it a little bit of a squeegee so that some of that excess water comes off. You can either wipe your brush back and forth or just give it a twist, pull off some of that excess water. So I have a nice full brush of paint. And then I can start to create my vines. So I'm just going to do it. I'm taking a deep breath. I'm going to start over at the side here. I'm going to have one that comes up and around like this. Do that again. Get it to be more brown. Now, if you don't have a long skinny brush, using your medium flat brush or your smaller flathead brush is going to work perfectly fine. You just have to leave it on its side. So there's my first one. Let's see how this goes. And then I'm going to make another long one. So my brush is pretty loaded. I'm going to come down and around and just feel the vibe of the vine vibes. Make a few little twirly whirlies here. Bring this up and around. And it's not exactly like my original, but you kind of just got to work with what you got. Just go with the flow. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Okay? Just let your hand go wild let those long lines come through. I'm going to try and do that one more time. It's on there pretty thick, but that's okay. Just make sure it's pretty solid. And I'm going to wrap this guy around a little bit more. Okay. Oh, what's Hannah saying? Oh, thanks, Hannah. I totally forgot about tonight. I'll have to watch the video when posted. It's beautiful. Thanks, Hannah. That's so nice. Thank you. Well, we're almost done, so bear with me, friends. We are getting there. Up and around and down. Excuse me. And you can use other colors too. So if you want to like put a couple little yellow highlights in there. Give it some extra vibes. It's totally cool. And up and down and around. Ta-da! So once I'm going to keep using my brush. So I have brown on there. So what I'm going to do is just take those extra little brown and give my leaves and whatever needs some little extra highlights what they need. Okay, I'm just going to give everything what it needs. So what that means is that like at the end of these vines, vines, I'm going to turn them into veins in my leaves and make, give them their little things, their little details. And I like to start with brown. It's just such a easy color. If you want to scribble in a little bit of brown into your leaves too, that's cool, like folly-ness. Whatever you need to do. And if you want to add some extra little curlies off the side. So you just have to kind of go around your painting and decide where you want some extra curly cues to live. For example, if I wanted to, I can add one just coming out of this vine here. So I'll start inside my vine and I'll come up and pull out, make a little curly and twist it out. Now you don't have to do these roundabouts. It can be a little bit tricky. You can always just take your brush and give it a little wiggle and add little bits like that as well. But, curly cues are fun. And where else do I want a curly cue? Maybe I'll just finish that guy off. And you can do them in whatever colors you want. So if you want to make some green curly cues, that works too. So I'm going to load my brush up with some green. Maybe like here. Didn't really work out that time. I'm going to try again. Down and around and just give it a little shh. I swear, guys, that I swear by shooshing. So if you ever need to shoosh, you just, I feel like it really helps focus. Shh. I'm all about the shooshes. Maybe one more little curly. I'm going to make him come out the side here. Ooh. Wherever it doesn't work, just go over it again. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then you can, I mean, like I said, there's so many places that you can put little extra just paintbrush strokes. So like add a little yellow to your brush and put a few yellow strokes in your leaves as well. Add little highlights to the tops of your leaves. We're coming to the end of the painting, so if anybody has any questions, just let me know. I'm so happy to help in any way I possibly can. And then you can add highlights forever, literally forever, okay? So, tell me how it went. Let me know how you feel about your amazing pumpkin. And that's it. How are you guys doing? Where are you guys at? Do you need any other things? Do you want me to do another leaf? Let me know. Let me know what you need from me. While you guys are finishing up, I'm just gonna let's see if I have anything else here. I'm gonna put all of my links in the comments that I had earlier. Let's see here, I'm gonna bring this down, cut. Let's see. Try to think if there's anything else I can do. Oh, well, thanks, Heather. I can't wait to see yours. Oh, this is my daughter's first paint party and she loved it. That's so great. Yes. I loved it too. It's really fun. Painting is literally the best ever. So I'm so happy about that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with me, guys. It's been so wonderful. I can't wait to see your painting. So the last thing you need to do, just grab your brush and give a little signature over in the corner. And I didn't say this before, but because you're going to want to hang this on your living room wall when you're done, make sure you paint all the sides of your painting. So give them a go. Just, make them teal or brown or whatever color you want. Black works too. Rosalie's loving her pumpkin. Thanks, Kate, again for showing up. You're always there. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mine looks great. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's so nice. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. That was a good go, guys. That was a nice long party. It's really getting late. This is definitely past my bedtime. And hopefully my daughter doesn't wake up before 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So, oh, good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thanks, Claudia. I appreciate that so much. And just remember, we have, honestly, you should have heard me. When I was painting this, I was literally just laughing. And then finally I had to go and knock on my husband's door because I'm like, you gotta see this. Look how funny this guy is. So we're painting him next Friday. He's so funny. I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't know. I just love it so much. I'm very excited to do that. And then if you guys aren't doing anything the night before Halloween, if you're having a night at home and you want to have some fun, because Halloween is on a Saturday this year. So on the Friday night, we're going to paint this really fun cat together with the pumpkin. And this party's only $5, so it's easy to join. No stress on the bank account. Well, Vanessa, I'll be the judge of that. You send me over the picture. I want to see it. I'll be the judge of how awful it is. Okay? Everybody's always so hard on themselves. It's not what it's about. Thanks, Holly. Oh, good. It turned out better than you thought. That's great. That makes me super happy. Awesome, guys. Well, for anybody who you want to share this with, it's going to be going up on my YouTube page. So make sure that you subscribe on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Julie's Paint Party. And just remember, guys, I have a bunch of freebies going on right now. So you can literally go on my website. You can get a free high definition painting tutorial. You can get a free load of free coloring pages. I have the link for my coloring book, but you can actually just download them all for free and print them off yourself if you want to. And I'm going to be doing some parties based on my children's book coming up. So get in there, do the things from a distance, stand back. I always like mine better from far back. That does help. Just taking a step back, turn around and face the wall, and then turn back and look at your painting and see what you think. You're welcome. Good night. And with that said, I am going to say good night. So thank you so much, friends, for showing up. I will see you hopefully next Friday. Okay? Enjoy. Get those pumpkin lumps in order. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.